Hi guys, welcome to the South Tyneside coast and welcome to another video. Now, I've got a plan for today's video, and what I've done is I've come south of the River Tyne, to basically create a triptych. Now, in case you don't know, a triptych is a collection essentially of 3 images which together form one greater story perhaps. You know, essentially I've come south of the river and one shot wouldn't really tell you that much about the area, but what I want to do is I want to get 3 separate shots. When the 3 of them combine, tell you a little bit more about the region really. So basically I'm concentrating on a stretch between the River Tyne and the River Wear. So quite a large area which I've got condensed down to 3 shots, but luckily there's some really nice viewpoints along the way. So I've got in mind what I actually want to do, which is always I think it's always the key to these sort of projects, isn't it, this sort of thing. But if I flick you around, you'll see there, that's going to be my first subject. And I'm right at the mouth of the Tyne. In the distance, you can probably see Tynemouth and, well, you can see Tynemouth. And the pier that I photographed numerous times recently, actually. But yeah, south of the river. Now I'm thinking for this, I'm going to go square crop definitely, so I want to create 3 separate square images. And I'm really, in my mind's eye, they're going to be black and white, so it's basically going to be a black and white triptych. That's the plan anyway, so I'm going to set my camera up, then I'll have a chat with you. So I've just set up my first shot. I had this one in my mind's eye already really. What I wanted to include some sort of the grass on the dunes, a little bit of sand dunes, and then the old lighthouse and the pier out of the distance. So I think I've managed that. It's looking quite nice in colour, but as I say, I think this is going to be black and white. But of course I do maintain the artistic right to actually change my mind on that one. So I'll drop the 10 times on. So that's giving me 13 seconds, there 14. So what that means is I'm going to have sort of the grass in the foreground is going to go quite misty, which is quite a nice effect actually. I quite like that idea. Right, I've just slightly recomposed, and as you can see the wind's picked up a little bit, but I'm thinking that's looking really nice. And so far I'm actually quite pleased with my first shot. Now what I'm going to try and do, I'm actually going to try and take one more. Well, I'm going to, if I swing you back around again, I think I'm going to try and just sort of concentrate on the actual lighthouse there. So I think I'm going to go in the dunes just over there, try and get more height, zoom in, probably about 200 mil perhaps, and just try and really just do it just to the lighthouse. Now I think, to be honest, this is the shot I will use because I was really pleased with this one. But what I will do, once I've taken it, I'll put both shots up on the screen for you, and then you'll have to wait towards the end of the video to see which one I actually finally choose for the final triptych. No, I'm not so sure which is my favourite now, to be honest. You've just seen both the shots. I'm really pleased with both of them, which is really good. It's just nice to be out shooting, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one I actually prefer. And I also don't know if it should be colour or black and white. So if you've just seen some colour shots, you've probably seen which way this triptych's actually heading, or if they're black and white, then we're on the original plan. But either way, I think that's 2 nice shots to start off with, and that, yeah, I'm really pleased with that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive right down to the River Wear, and we're going to go visit Roker and take a shot of the pier there. Okay, so I've got to Roker, and as you can see, it's a really nice photogenic pier. However, it's not really doing it the most justice from down here at ground level. And what I need to do is I need to actually get up a little bit of height up there by where the houses are, and try and have a shot looking down on it, and then it will become quite evident why I've actually come here and what makes this spot so special. So let's get into it. So as you can see, when you get a little bit of height, it's a curved pier, which makes it incredibly photogenic. Now I'm just going to zoom in a bit to really concentrate on the curved shape of the pier. And then once I've got my composition in place, I'll drop the 10 times on. There's quite a lot of cloud going on at the moment, so I'm really pleased with that. So I'll compose my square crop, I'll drop my 10 times on, and then I'll take the shot and put it on the screen for you. Right, just the same as I did at Little Haven Beach in South Shields, what I've done here at Roker is I've took a couple of different compositions. Now I think when you're doing a triptych, what you have to try and remember is that the 3 photos have to work together. So whilst one composition may actually be stronger than the other as a standalone photo, you've got to think of it as the big package. So for example, this one, it could be the weaker shot could actually work better for the triptych. But whichever shot I choose to use, I think really I'm quite pleased with the first 2 images I've got for the triptych. So the way I'm looking at the moment is probably the most northern shot, which would be the Little Haven South Shields River Tyne shot. That will be the left-hand side. And this shot, the most southern shot, will be on the right-hand side. So that basically means I'm going to retrace my steps back and go to a middle point to try and get the final image. And now I've got something in mind, but I really need lots of clouds for it to work. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but if it doesn't, I'll just have to choose something else. But anyway, we're going to head towards Souter Lighthouse now, and we'll try and get the final shot for this triptych. Right, so as you can see behind me, we have Souter Lighthouse, which happens to be the first lighthouse in the world designed and built to run on alternating electric current. There you are, interesting fact for you. I didn't get that off Wikipedia at all. Anyway, so as you can see, an incredibly picturesque lighthouse, but it's not actually what I want to photograph, because I don't think that would really fit in with the theme of what I'm trying to create with this triptych. So it may be playing a supplementary role in the picture, but it's definitely not going to be the main focal point of the picture. Now, so far we've got a really old wooden lighthouse at the mouth of the Tyne. We've got the nice curved pier and lighthouse at Roker. So what I'm really looking for is something just a little bit different for this. And I'm not sure how achievable it's going to be, but I want to try and do something with these foghorns. Probably something very simple, to be honest. And that's why I wanted clouds, for it to try and work. So I'm going to try and go back down there a little bit, use the 28 to 200mm lens, and try and almost come in quite close, quite abstract, and hopefully get some movement behind. I'm not sure if it's going to work, because it's going to be quite different from the other two. And this is why I think it's going to work well in the middle, because I think it's almost going to be that sort of separation between the two shots. And I'm hoping it'll bring the triptych together, but we won't know until we try, will we? So, yeah, I best find a viewpoint and set up. Right, so I've set this shot up, and it's just wearing away on a 30-second exposure. And this is actually the most abstract shot out of the 3 shots I've taken, which is good, because I wanted this middle shot to actually break up the other 2 shots. I wanted the other 2 shots to be nice shots on their own, and this one to almost be the anchor between the two, the divide, if you'd like, you know. If we want to be pedantic about it, one side South Tyneside and the other side's the city of Sunderland. So really this is on the divide between the two. So this, as it happens, the lighthouse is actually having a really big part in this shot. But it's, apart from that, it's a very graphic, abstract shot. And I think instead of trying to explain the composition to you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on taking the shots until I'm happy, and then I'll put it on the screen for you to have a look at. And that's the final photo of my triptych. Now, I've really enjoyed getting out today doing this, and I think sometimes it's just nice to set yourself a little challenge, you know, a little goal of what you want to achieve for your photography in a day. And this is another one of those classic examples. But you know, I've been really happy with the photos I've taken. I think possibly the weakest one will be the last one. But I don't know, that was probably a bit more experimental, so it may end up that actually could end up being my favourite. But it's really, the point of this is not about one of the shots being a favourite, is it? It's about the 3 final shots working together to complete one final package as such, and to almost tell the bigger story. So before I leave you with the final selection for the triptych in the right order, I would just like to say thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something from it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will see you again shortly. But until then, here's the final triptych from today's shoot.